Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will discuss the changes occurring in the body when you go into deep sea, in the depth of the sea. In the previous video, I have discussed the changes which occur at high altitude. When you go to hilly areas, how your body is going to respond. But in this video, we will discuss the changes which occur or the problems which you may face when you go deep in the sea. So, what is the physiology of the deep sea diving? When human beings descend beneath the sea, the pressure around them increases tremendously. To keep the lungs from the collapsing, air must be supplied at very high pressure to keep them inflated. This exposes the blood in the lungs also to extremely high alveolar gas pressure, a condition which is named as hyperbarism. So, from this diagram, I explain you what happens at the sea level. You have this much pressure over the body, but when you go to the depth of the sea, the pressure now becoming much more. As you have your body have this pressure, that is this much plus this much, and you go more in the depth, the pressure is now of this column of water, plus this one. So the body is exposed to high pressure in the depth of the sea. Because of the high pressure, your body have some difficult problems. It face some difficult problems, and all things, the blood, your blood and other tissue cells, they are exposed to the high pressure. What changes occur in response to this high pressure? That is the thing, and how you are going to manage it. And one more thing I want to clear here, that this chapter, for the whole of the chapter, I am giving you a single lecture. I will include all these changes plus their signs, symptoms, plus its treatment in a better way as it written in the textbook. So you must listen this video and watch it carefully, because it is a summary of the whole of the chapter, including all the signs, symptoms and treatment thoroughly. According to the law, or that is Boyle's law, if the temperature remains constant, well, it is the relationship between the volume and the pressure, that is volume to which a given quantity of gas is compressed, is inversely proportional to the pressure. So, I am discussing this law here because we are going to have the relationship between the volume and the pressure here in the depth of the sea. According to this law, keeping the temperature constant, you can see the temperature is constant while we are observing the relationship between the volume and the pressure. When your volume decreases and increases, what changes occur in the pressure? This is the graphical presentation of the relationship between the volume and the pressure. And here you can see how they are correlated with each other by keeping the temperature constant. Because if you change the temperature, it also affects the volume and the pressure. So instead of that, you must keep temperature constant and observe the relationship between the pressure and the volume, and we find that it is inversely proportional to the pressure. Volume is inversely proportional to the pressure, and that is shown graphically here. Now we are going to apply this law when we go in the depth of the sea. There are two types of the areas in the body when discussing diving and Boyle's law. Our body tissues mainly divided into two categories if we consider the effect of the deep sea physiology. What are the effects of the deep sea? How our body is going to respond? For that purpose, we are going to divide our body tissues in two categories mainly. Number one is the compressible and the second is the non-compressible. Why we are doing so? Because this is the compressible portion of the body which is going to create the problem. Non-compressible, there will be no change regarding the deep sea physiology, but this is the portion that is the compressible portion of the body tissue that will create the problem. They include the lungs, middle ear, sinuses, nasal passages, as all these have some air passages. You can see in the lungs, alveoli, middle ear, sinuses, nasal passages. Here we have the bones which have cavities, small cavities, so in which the air can enter under the compression, under the high pressure, or the when, and it will show the response when the pressure is released. As compared to the second category, non-compressible, that are the fixed. For example, the muscle, there will be no change in the muscle, that is fixed. The kidneys, they are the solid organs, but as compared to the sinuses and the lungs, they have small air cavities. Because of that, they will show the different response when you go deep and when you come again to the sea level. This is a very nice diagram through which we can label all these organs clearly. Increased pressure can collapse the air chambers of the diver's body, especially the lungs, and often causes serious damage. This is the reason. So, because of that, we divide our body tissues into two categories, compressible and non-compressible, because this is the portion which is behaving in a different way when you go deep in the sea and you then come again to the sea level. Effect of high partial pressure of individual gases on the body. Now, what will the effect of high pressure for the individual gases? We can have the nitrogen narcosis, reduces the neuronal excitability, acute oxygen poisoning, chronic oxygen poisoning, and also the carbon dioxide toxicity. Especially now we will discuss the decompression sickness, and it has many other names also. You may ask about the Bend's compressed air sickness, Casson's disease, diver's paralysis, dysphorism. All these names, only one showing the decompression sickness. What is that thing? When you go in the depth of the sea, that is, you are going to face very high pressure. What happens when after exposure of the high pressure gases, then you come again to the sea level? That creates much more problem to your body tissues. What happens when your body tissues, they are compressed, and what happens when this compression is removed? That is called the decompression sickness. That creates much more problem, And now we are going to discuss this one. In the decompression sickness, the liberation of gas bubbles from solution into tissues or blood in an individual exposed to a reduction of the environmental pressure. Now, from this diagram, I will tell you what is the basic defect occur when you go in the depth of the sea and come again to the sea level. While going in the depth, you are facing a high pressure. All the gas pressures you can have this one, the pressure outside and pressure inside your body, that there is not so much difference. But what happens when you come again to the sea level? After sudden decompression, this is when you are going inside in the depth of the sea. But when you come to the sea level, outside pressure that is the 760, but inside that is 4065. You can check the gross difference between the environmental outside pressure and the inside. This is the basic reason. Because of that, or you can say the incompatibility of these pressure outside and inside of the body, that creates the problem. Because of this change in the pressure, more and more air bubbles they form in the compressible tissues. Air passes from the pulmonary venous circulation to the systemic circulation. Rupture of the interparenchymal elements is the secondary to overexpansion. What happens when going to the depth of the sea? Your body is facing high pressure, but the outside pressure and the inside pressure, it has no gross difference. While ascending suddenly to the sea level, you are going to remove the pressure over the compressible tissues of the body suddenly. Because of that, the air bubbles that are formed in the compressible tissues. Now once these air bubble forms, they can circulate through the blood vessels and can reach even to the brain, to the heart and all other important organs. And that is going to create problem that it can obstruct the blood supply and it can create many other signs and symptoms. This thing that you are going into the deep sea. Nitrogen moves from high pressure in the lungs into the low pressure when you are coming to the sea level. Swimming up too quickly doesn't give the nitrogen enough time to leave the blood. Instead, it can form painful bubbles. This point should be noted that you are not giving enough time to the gas to manage itself in your body, but you are coming to the sea level suddenly. So what happens? There is no time given to the gas to manage it. Instead of that, when you remove the pressure over the gases suddenly, there will be formation of the bubbles. And these bubbles, they can create a problem and painful condition. Bubble form first in the tissue and then in the venous blood. The lung are usually an effective filter for the bubble pulmonary arterioles. The ability of lung to filter the bubble, which then resolve by gas diffusion to the alveoli bubble, can also be bypassed through the anatomical defect and can reach to any other organ also. What happens? They can create the obstruction to the vascular flow. External compression to the vascular, nerve, lymphatics and sensory cell can occur. Mechanical damage to the tissues and structure, and also the activation of the inflammatory response. And you must Remember this point, because while discussing the treatment, I will mention this point again. This is the best picture to show the different signs and symptoms for the decompression illness. Regarding the inner ear, loss of balance, hearing loss, ringing, nausea. In the eyes, visual disturbance can occur. For the skin, rash, blotchy, bladder, loss of function. In the joints, you can have the pain. In the lungs, difficulty in breathing, chest pain and coughing. In this diagram, I want to show the clear picture of the defect occurring in the joint. You can see this one. The joint pain account for the term bends that is often applied to this condition. The bends puts the bubbles in your brain and other body organs. Now coming to the treatment. The first most important treatment is the first aid, which can be given immediately. That is the number one thing, you must remove the body from the water. Then lie flat, give oxygen and arrange the ambulance and bring the patient to the hospital. This is a very nice picture to show how you can manage these patients. This is the treatment in the hospital. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy can be given. Mechanical compression of the bubbles, wash out of the inner gas. You must maintain the IV line and give the IV fluids to replace the rehydration. And the lignocaine to stabilize the cell membrane. And this one which I was telling you about the inflammatory response, that you must give the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs to combat the inflammatory response in these patients. Prognosis, that is avoid driving for the 4 weeks, fly for 2 to 4 weeks, review 4 weeks and further investigation if needed. So prognosis, that is the end result. That depends upon all these things, and precautions must be kept, that the divers avoid further exposure for 4 weeks and they must avoid the fly 2 to 4 weeks. Firstly, you should manage whole of this condition carefully and then they can have the further journey depending upon their condition. This is the hyperbaric chamber through which the special oxygen supply is given. A sealed compartment used to treat air embolism and decompression sickness, in which pressure is first increased and then gradually decreased. What happens when you go deep in the sea? The body is exposed to the high pressure. But when this compression is released suddenly, that creates the problem. So the best way to avoid the sudden ascent to the sea level, if you come to the sea level slowly and give the time to the gas to manage itself properly, you can avoid all these signs and symptoms. That is the best solution. Slow and steadily come to the sea level. So this is the chart showing how you are coming to the sea level slowly, that is 10 minutes at 50 feet depth, 17 minutes stay at 40 feet, 19 minutes 30 feet and 50 minutes 20 feet, 84 minutes at 10 feet depth. So your ascent to the sea level must be very slow. In this way, you are giving the time to for the gas to manage itself properly. Otherwise, if you decompress the gases suddenly, the bubbles they will be created and they circulate through the blood supply. They can reach to the brain and heart and all areas where they can create the problems. This is the apparatus which the divers take with them when going to the depth in the sea. You can see the mask which is kept over the face, having this valve, and also here valve connected to the oxygen cylinders, so that they can manage the supply of the oxygen through these cylinders according to the depth of the sea. When they need high pressure or the low pressure, they can manage it through these valves. This is the special arrangement in which these patients they can kept. We can have two ways. The one way is the first way, that is before going into the depth of the sea. All these persons they are kept in the same condition in special chambers so that their body should learn how that should react to the depth of the sea and when they are coming to the sea level again. So this is the one thing, and the second is the hyperbaric therapy, that is including the when the patient is, when these divers become patient, they must be kept in special chambers so that they are exposed to high pressure again, and then you are going to remove the pressure slowly. So in these two ways you are going to manage the all things. The most successful use of hyperbaric oxygen has been for the treatment of gas gangrene. So these are the divers, they are trained and their body is trained to manage itself while going in the depth and of the sea and coming to the sea level. With this, I wish you best of luck and I complete the respiratory unit, and I hope we will meet in the second year again. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.